Hey guys, Alison Alhamed, Editor-in-Chief of Modern Salon magazine, and I am in the press room with Nick Stenson. We are at Matrix Destination 2018 in Orlando, Florida. You guys know Nick. He's a celebrity stylist with Matrix. He's an artistic director with Matrix, and he's the chief artistic director with Ulta Beauty. Your face is everywhere. You've been having like the most amazing year.
I have, and it's just begun.
So cool. And some of my favorite moments of yours this past year has been all these incredible celebrities Nick has worked with. You've touched the tresses of some of Hollywood's elite. We've got musicians, we have actors and actresses. I mean, name it, you've done it.
It's been fun.
Cool.
It's been fun. It definitely has.
So who have been, like, give me your top five, some of your top five heads of hair that you've got to play with.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think Juliana Rancic, just because she's such a sweetheart, and I just love her. I mean, latest Fergie has been amazing, and she's such a doll. But if I go back like many years, Brooke Shields was amazing. Who else has been amazing? Christina Aguilera was pretty cool. Yes, there's been a lot of people that are really cool.
And it's a huge range, which means a lot of different personalities.
Yes.
You've got some people who are totally cool with being Instagrammed. You've got some that are a little bit more,
Oh yeah.
No, this is like, they don't show off their glam squads.
Yeah.
So when you show up at that door and you've got your kit and you're ready to go, are you allowed to fangirl a little bit? Can you be like, Brooke Shields, Christina Aguilera? Are you allowed to?
No. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no because here's what I've learned. There are so many people that do that, that they just want their team to be like real people that are down to earth, that treat them normal, that are like, hey, you want a cup of coffee? Let's chat.
Right.
You know, and that's been the most interesting part is there's so many people that lift these people up and put them on pedestals and they're kind of nagging at them for every little thing that when you kind of come in with a very chill approach, they put their guard down. And that's something that I learned really early on. So try to be as chill as possible.
Yeah, one of the things that Jen Atkin, I was talking to her about, she said, this, if you remember that this isn't about you, it like makes that so much better. Like
Totally.
Sometimes people get nervous and just want to talk about themselves, but this is not about you. This is about her.
Totally.
We're in the service industry.
I'll tell you, I almost fangirled I was on the red carpet for the Golden Globes, and like literally about 6 feet away from me was Barbra Streisand, and I was like, I felt myself going towards her, and I'm like, what are you doing? Stop!
So you just kind of got to check that at the door.
You do got to check it. You do. And they respect it.
Yeah. And so then, so let's talk about your kit. What do you show up with? What do you bring? Is it all product? Is it tools? And do you have to bring the actual hair concept with you, or is that something that's established ahead of time?
Well, totally. So, of course, like I have all my Matrix products. I'm like obsessed with all styling. Styling is so great for like building in all these different styles that you need to last all day long. So I have my whole kit of product. Everything you can imagine you have to bring. The one thing that you have to be when you're working with celebrities is flexible. Because there's so many people that have a hand in their look and an opinion in their look. And there's so many emails that go back and forth and storyboards that go back and forth and concepts. And then you walk in thinking exactly you know what you want. And then you sit down and the celebrity sits there and goes, oh, I don't want that. You know, wait a minute, there was just like 4,000 emails on this.
Right.
You know, and you have to be nimble, you have to be flexible, and you have to be okay with change. So don't get wrapped up in like, I'm going to do this technique, this is exactly how I'm going to put it in, because that's going to change. And you're going to get there and their hair isn't going to be what you thought it was, especially if you're working with them for the first time. So you have to have a lot of things in your arsenal of like tools to make sure you're set up for success.
Okay, so you just talked about the Golden Globes. You know, these red carpet events are something where Nick Stenson really shines. How important is it to collaborate with the fashion stylist and the makeup artist?
Critical. Everything is about a teamwork effort. Everything is about telling the full story. One thing can't hang alone without the other. You have to have the makeup, the hair, the wardrobe, the mood. Everything has to be seamless, like a 360 approach to her or his look. So being aligned with the makeup artist and the stylist or designer is really critical.
So we've all been there where, you finish your haircut on a client, or you do the fade on your male client. He's like, can you just go a little bit shorter after you finish the entire thing? Have you ever been in a situation where you've been working on a celeb and like you did the whole style and she's like, can you redo this?
Oh yeah. All the
and
time.
what do you do? Just roll with it?
You
smile?
have to roll with it. And that's the thing too, because when you think about it, when you have clients that are sitting in your chair, they're looking to you for, what am I going to look the best? What can you do for me to make me look the best? Because I don't know what's best for me. The celebrity's like, I know my angle, I know my hair, I know my makeup colors, I know what I want, how I want it, and where I want it. So it's not about you telling them, it's about them telling you.
So what happens, like, when you show up, you get working, before any of that even happens, are you, like, approached by their agent or their rep and they're like, here's the do's and don'ts, like, don't ask her about this, no cell phones, like, is it a little fun back there, or is it totally depend?
You're always met with a team, and they kind of like set the stage for the mood and what's happening and where we're going to go and kind of get you set up for success. But all the stuff like no cell phones and all that kind of goes without saying. You sign non-disclosures and all that kind of stuff, so that's not talked about. And then you get in there and you start collaborating with the artist.
So I know a little bit about your inner workings of what happens back there, but can you tell us a little bit of a horror story? Obviously you can't name names, but just so, I think it's kind of cool that you get to be backstage and like really experience this high tension, high stress, time pressed experience. What can go wrong? What has gone wrong?
I think 2 different times. I won't say names, but I will say the one time I showed up and thought this was going to be a cakewalk gig, and it was going to be so easy, and I was going to go in and throw some curls in her hair, and I was going to be out the door. And I walked in, and all her hair was fried, like completely broken, and like the underneath was like this long, and the sides were like this long, and she wanted hair down here, and I wasn't prepared. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So while they were doing makeup in wardrobe, I Googled a place to go buy hair extensions and literally bought like 4 packs of extensions in different colors to try and match in a hope and a prayer that it worked. And it worked, but that was a lesson. Let me tell you, now I walk in with like arsenals of hair. And I'm like, sometimes I'm like, where am I going with all this?
And then outside of like the products and tools in your kit, how important is it to have references of actual looks that have been on red carpet before, or celebrities that have worn certain looks in music videos?
Well, you have to be careful with showing a celebrity another celebrity, because it may be a celebrity they don't really care for. So you have to be careful. So I never show them another celebrity and say, what about this? Because then they're like, well, why would I want that? She already had it.
Right.
So you have to be very careful with that. I think it's more like if you're like, I want to do an S curl, right? Well, we know what that is in the industry, but like she doesn't know what it is. So like showing an actual curl formation, I'll blow up the one section of the hair and say, this curl, like do you like this pattern? Or this ponytail and placed this part of the head, like to really bring up your eyes.
And is that happening in the moment?
In the moment, yeah.
Okay.
Now, her team or his team or whatever will like lead you up to that. Like she doesn't like low ponies because she wants high ponies because she wants to bring up her eyes and all that kind of stuff. But that changes in the moment. I mean, I've literally had celebrities that are like, we decided on the hair color, and then I got there and she's like, I want a completely different hair color. Completely than the color we talked about.
Wow.
And you just have to roll with it.
Thank God for assistance, though.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so you're coming up on 2 decades with Matrix, and with Ulta Beauty.
You just made me sound really old.
Well, no, 2 decades. I think it's pretty cool. I mean, you've got a lot of experience, and you're working with all different ranges of experience. And with Ulta Beauty, I mean, this is a new gig for you, and you're constantly recruiting new talent. How does one get to your level? How does one get to that point where they can do Fergie's hair and consult with her on hair color and really experience these cool celebrity moments?
You know, it's a question that I think I get asked every day in my life. And I always say, never say no. That's the biggest thing. Never, ever say no. No matter what the job is, no matter how grueling it is. I mean, here, for instance, I just worked with Fergie on her show the other day, and it was a 21-hour day on set. You just do it. You just go, you know?
I saw that. You were, when I was waking up for the day, you were going to sleep.
I was going to sleep. And, but it fulfills you, you know, it's so good. So never say no to anything. Make sure you always stay humble. Make sure you always learn. Doesn't matter how long you've been in this business. Doesn't matter how much you know. Because I'm going to tell you something. The person who just got out of beauty school can teach you a whole bunch of things that you never dreamed that you didn't know. So be open to people who just get into the business or who've been in the business for, I just talked to somebody yesterday, 57 years she was in the business. And
now sounds old.
Now, she was so cute. And I literally wanted to sit with her and just pick her brain because that's a wealth of knowledge, right? And when you take somebody new with fresh set of eyes that isn't jaded, and then you take somebody that's been there and you combined it, it's like an explosion of knowledge.
Awesome.
So that's for sure. And then I really have to say, and I'm not saying it because we're at a Matrix event, you know, I was thinking about it at the show last night. Matrix has been my journey. You know, they've been there for me throughout my journey. Like I started, I'll never forget the first model room I worked in. I mixed the color wrong for this one artist and she threw the bowl of color at me. And it was like the most horrific experience. And I thought to myself, what am I doing? And then I realized like those were the moments that shaped me. Now, I don't encourage anybody to throw color at anybody, but we've come a long way in the industry. But I will tell you, being in model rooms, shampooing hair, just standing there handing foils to people, that's where I learned, and that's where I still learn.
Yeah.
You know, there was somebody that was new on our Matrix team in the model room, and she's an influencer, and I'd never seen her before in person, and she was doing this technique with color, and I was just sitting there. She's like, "You're making me nervous." I'm like, "Why? I'm learning from you." And she's like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "I don't do things like this, so I want to know how you're doing it."
Right.
So always be open, and I'm so loyal to Matrix because they have handheld me through my career and continue to give me platforms to shine and express myself. And now with Ulta Beauty, it's like this perfect synergy.
It's perfect.
You know, we're all things beauty in one place, and it's fun, fresh, and real. And Matrix is all about being authentic and being you. So it's the same story, it's the same culture, it's the same connection to our people, and that's extremely important to me.
Well, cheers to you, Nick
Cheers.
Stenson.
Thank you so much.
That's why we love following you. If you want to
Thank you
keep
so
up
much.
with Nick Stenson, make sure you're following him on Instagram to see all the fun celebrity moments that he's experiencing, not only at Matrix Destination and Ulta Beauty events, but really just around the world. It's pretty cool to follow this guy, so make sure to stay in touch.
Love you, Modern.
Thanks.